My name is Brian Holt, and I am really excited to be back at Front and Masters teaching the complete intro to Linux and the CLI. So the first thing is I want everyone to get on this particular page right now. You can see I have the URL up here, but I also give you a nice little bit.ly link, bit.ly/linux-cli, like that. And if you go to that, Linux-CLI, it should just take you straight to that. You can also just get it off of my GitHub too. Cool. So you should land on this page, and just to get you a little acquainted with how this particular website works for this course, you can see here I have all these various different sections and chapters. So if I click here on Welcome Introduction, you'll see up here that it says Welcome Introduction, right? So that means if you get lost, you can just look and say, okay, he's in the Linux what is Linux thing, right? Cool. So with that, let's go ahead and hop into the introduction. Let's hop right into it. This is the complete intro to Linux and the command line. So this is kind of like a bit of a passion thing for me, that I think developers really need to learn how to use their tools. And I think a lot of people underinvest with their knowledge in how to use the command line. To the point, like I've worked with plenty of people that never use the command line. They always use some sort of GUI or program to handle things like Git and other things like that. And I think it's a mistake, because I think this tool can be very useful to you. So you can see we have a nice picture of a Gen 2 penguin here. We had an artist come in and do some of these things for us, but they're great. And her name's Alice Brereton, so if you want to check out her art, I left you a little link down here. But yeah, it took me actually several years of working with code and being a programmer before I actually invested time to go back and learn Bash and learn Linux and learn the command line. And so that's kind of what I'm hoping here for you, is that I can kind of help you shortcut this kind of years of like hodgepodge learning, and you can kind of learn a lot all at once. So, so who are you? Like, what kind of person is this class for? This class is for anyone that's ever wanted to learn the command line for any reason whatsoever. Whether that's for programming purposes or machine learning or anything like that, all that will be taught here in this particular class. Like, you can be all the way from learning your first programming language to being a pro in the industry for years. Like 4 or 5 years into my career, I wish this had already existed. So I'll say that a tiny bit of programming experience is useful, but it's not required. Incidental to learning the command line here, you're going to be learning quite a bit of Linux, and that's just, it's in the name of the course, Complete Intro to Linux and the Command Line. The course is probably primarily oriented to teaching you the command line, and we're going to be learning a bit of Linux along the way. We'll be learning specifically Ubuntu. Ubuntu is like one flavor of Linux. There's a bunch of them. We'll talk about that later. But suffice to say, it's at least one of the more popular ones, if not the most popular distribution of Linux. I'll just throw out here as well, much of what I'm teaching here is portable to other things other than just Linux, right? So I'm teaching you Bash in Ubuntu, but I would say almost everything I'm going to teach you works directly in Mac OS, just without change. And ZSH, which is a very similar shell to Bash, which again, we'll talk about that in a second. And even much of this will translate to PowerShell in Windows. Much less of that. I would say that's like less than 50%, but it's still quite a bit. Okay. So where can you expect to be after you take this course? I would say if you're uncomfortable with the command line, I think after this course you'll feel comfortable enough to work a lot in the command line. And if you're already comfortable with the command line, I would say that you are going to learn a bunch of tips and tricks and probably learn a bunch of the reasons of why you do things the way you do them. Cool. Contributing. So if you find a spelling error or anything like that, go ahead and file an issue or open a pull request on this course. It's open source, so and it's just on GitHub. Feel free to share this as well. I'm really grateful to Front and Masters for letting me teach this in such a way that we can open source all the materials. And then something new that we're going to do for this course here, I put this errata in here. So if you click here, at the end, there is a page of errata. So if I mess up something during the filming of this course, obviously we can't go back and like refilm it. So what I'll do is I'll put a note here in the errata of something that's like wrong with the course. So if you're watching this on demand later, just go check to see if there's anything in here of what we might have done incorrectly. Okay, who am I? My name is Brian. I'm an Aquarius. No, I'm just kidding. That is true, but I'm not going to talk about that. As of right now, I work at Microsoft. I'm a senior program manager. I work on JavaScript on Azure, as well as on Visual Studio Code. I've worked quite a bit in developer tooling and developer productivity, and so it's kind of a passion of mine to like help developers use their tools, and then help tools be something that developers want to use. So hopefully this helps you kind of in both of those respects. I've also done developer relations for Microsoft, and I've been a JavaScript / Node.js engineer / infrastructure engineer at LinkedIn, Netflix, Reddit, and a couple other places as well. As far as for my master's, I think I've definitely been here like close to 10, 15 times. I can't even, no, I'm not going to try and count. It's a lot. We'll just say it's a lot. Yeah, so I think a lot about code, developer tools, and making devs happy. When I'm not working, you can find me being just terrible at Overwatch. That's true. There's people that would attest to that. Traveling the world when one can travel, and sampling the finest, peatiest whiskeys and hoppiest beers. Sweating on a Peloton, that's true as well. Or hanging out with my wife and my sassy little dog, whose name's Luna. I'm sure I'll mention her because I have a habit of mentioning her in my course. I live in Seattle, and yeah. And while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and shout out my 3 favorite charities that you might take a look at, which are Annie Cannon's The Last Mile and Vetsu Code, which is great. I get to work with Friend of Masters because they support those charities as well. And again, special thanks to Friend of Masters. Like, these people really are my family. No one look at me and give me puppy dog eyes. But it's been really great to work with these wonderful people over the years, I should say. But because of them, I get to open source my courses and reach a lot of people. So all sorts of feel goods and hugs are all around.